Hi, I'm Pete May, president and co-founder of GreenBiz Group, and we're delighted to be here at GreenBiz Studio with Ellen Jackowski, I didn't get your title, Ellen. Is it now Chief Sustainability Officer at HP?
Chief Sustainability and Social Impact Officer. So to have both the environmental and the social side.
Wow, that's a mouthful. And this is yeah. And this is going to be a really fun interview because just in full disclosure, GreenBiz, the website is 20 plus years old now. And when it started, HP was a really active practitioner very early in the environmental sustainability side. And Ellen, I've known you, I think, since, for several years. And it's been great to collaborate with HP. Seeing the progress. This is a company that was out ahead on sustainability early. So you have a really venerable past in practices in sustainability. But in some ways, the world is fresh, and particularly this year, 2020, that matters a little bit. But I think for companies now, it matters a lot more where you are today, and even more so where you're headed. So give me a sense of, particularly in your new role now, where HP stands on sustainability and where you're taking it moving forward.
Sure. So thanks, Pete. And so much fun to be talking to you. At HP, I think, for us, this moment in particular is incredibly serious. It's a moment where we're seeing huge changes at a speed that we haven't seen as a global society in quite some time. And with this moment comes a lot of responsibility and opportunity for us to all accelerate our commitments to solving climate change, to addressing social inequalities. So with the energy that's being created around all these issues and what we're all observing and feeling across the world, this is a moment for all of us to step up and accelerate our action. And that's what we want to do at HP.
Yeah. So can you, you've hit on several interesting themes here. We're seeing at GreenBiz, the climate pledge wars, companies, which is a really good thing. Companies out pledging themselves in terms of what they're doing around their impact, their environmental impact and climate. You also touched on the intersection with justice and equity, which was a big theme at Burge this year, and obviously in the world. Can you talk about those two themes and how you're managing the tension between them?
Sure. So, we were the first company in our industry to publish our carbon footprint so many years ago, as well as the first company to set comprehensive carbon reduction goals across our entire footprint. And, with that type of mindset and kind of studying that, measuring our footprint and understanding the impacts, again, this is the moment for us to continue to accelerate that. So, we're working to drive down the energy consumption of all of our products and continue to release innovations in that space. This year, we actually announced that HP has the world's most sustainable PC portfolio. That's based in foundation on EPEAT criteria, along with some other criteria that enhances that. But
wait, you're getting geeky here. So EPEAT is the government standard, I think, for procurement. And can you just explain that to folks, what you're doing there?
Yes. So that standard is a good foundation for us. It's the most comprehensive eco-label in the IT industry that measures products in terms of things like energy efficiency, recycled content, take back and recycling that the company offers. So it's pretty comprehensive, and hence we decided to use that as the foundation to substantiate, can we have the world's most sustainable product portfolio for PCs? And in fact, we do. So, that's a key component of our commitment to offer not just reductions for ourselves, reducing our own footprint, but how our customers, when partnering and purchasing HP products and services, can reduce their own footprint, can take steps forward to a more sustainable future for everyone.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, one of the questions we always ask, partners when they talk about our sustainability initiatives here, there, it's for whom? And so, and some companies answer that with its prospective employees, its current employees, its customers, its partners, its investors. Can you talk a little bit about, again, motivations for doing this from a stakeholder point of view? You started to touch on that.
Yeah, and our perspective is it has to be for everyone in our entire ecosystem across our value chain. We're a large company. We operate in over 170 countries worldwide. Our supply chain is over $50 billion. So the impact that we can have when we start focusing on shifting to a more sustainable future is pretty significant. And then when we start looking at partnering with our customers together in the communities that we serve to create that type of impact and scale it outside of our own operations or our own supply chain, that's really powerful. And, we know, during this time we've seen what can happen when we take action collectively as a society. With the pandemic and everyone sheltering in place, we can see that result of the collective action. And I think that can serve as inspiration for how we need to tackle climate change, working together, collaborating, not just for ourselves and our own companies, but reaching broadly outside to scale that impact together.
Can you give an example? We don't have much time, but a quick example of a partnership you think is fruitful and is really moving the needle in that direction?
Yeah, well, just a couple of weeks ago, we launched our new washing line in Haiti, and that is a really great example of the way we view our sustainability strategy: planet, people, and community. It kind of bridges both the environmental and the social impact pieces. And that's a great example of work that we've been able to do through collaborating with expert partners on the ground to not only use over 60 million bottles, preventing them from flowing in the ocean, and instead upcycling them into our products, but also job creation. We've been able to create over 1,100 income opportunities. So providing livable wages, sustainable jobs that are going to grow over time and accelerate, especially now with this new washing line and recycling infrastructure that we're putting into place. But we couldn't have done it alone without the key partners there on the ground and that combined expertise. We know supply chain, we can bring that expertise, but we couldn't bring some of the other pieces of information and knowledge about the local community or some of the other concerns, on the ground there. So I think it's a great example of how together, when you put complementary expertise in the same area to solve a problem, you can make some pretty big headway.
Right. And last question again, since I've known you for a long time, you've always struck me, and the HP vision, I think, has always been an optimistic one. At the same time, you mentioned, and we see this all day long, it's attention, just daunting challenges from a point of view of racial equity, daunting challenges in terms of climate change. Just my final question, how kind of optimistic are you about our ability to move the needle on these issues going forward?
Well, again, I think it comes back to this moment and how serious this moment is and the responsibility that we all need to take as individuals, as companies, as community. And so we shouldn't waste it. And we shouldn't, sit back and just kind of wait and see what happens. We need to continue to take action, aggressive action, looking for ways to reinvent how we've always, made products, consumed things as humans, how we interact and treat each other within the society. This is a time, to change. We're starting a brand new decade. It's the decisive decade, right? The UN decade of ecosystem restoration. And it's time to accelerate our actions.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Ellen Jackowski from HP, always a pleasure to talk with you, and always a pleasure to hear about things you're working on. Thanks for joining GreenBiz Studio today.
Thanks, Pete.